Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're diving into Marvel Rivals once again as its second beta is underway right now, and I've been playing it a lot. And as of literally today, we have gained 2 more characters as well as the 2 new characters that we got in this beta. So we started with Adam Warlock and Venom being added at the beginning, and today we gained Thor and everyone's favorite land shark, Jeff. And I've had some time to actually play around with them and see how they are, as well as play around a lot with the changes that they have made to various characters and things and balancing and so on for this beta. So I thought it was good to just throw out another tier list based on what I have played so far, as I definitely see different play patterns emerging and different characters actually like jumping in popularity, versus the previous beta. So let's take a look. We'll do it. This is in kind of a random order, apart from the new characters are at the bottom. But we'll just do it in this order because it is what it is. First off, it's probably good to get this one out of the way. Black Panther was rubbish, let's be honest, in the first beta, was not very well received. I think he got buffed a little bit, but he just isn't really being played. We'll get to why a little bit later on, because there's one specific character that pushes Black Panther out, in my opinion. But he's just... Every time, I think what the weird problems with Black Panther is, he zips around the map, he can jump on backlines, sounds good. I have never actually seen his ult have any impact in the game whatsoever, beyond maybe killing a person, right? I've never seen like a Black Panther pop off, and I've played a good amount of hours. I mean, let me actually check how many hours I've played. I am like 80 hours into the game right now, and I've yet to see a Black Panther make an impact. So unfortunately, Black Panther is going to stay where he was last time at D tier. Next up, we do have Groot, probably the premier tank in the first beta. He has been nerfed. His walls are way less durable now. They feel a lot easier to take down, although he is still useful. His ult's good. He still has that synergy with Rocket, and what he still brings that uniqueness to your team if that's what you want. The walls still do a good job at being walls and annoying your opponents, blocking out certain abilities, blocking out entryways and some of those choke points in the map. But for me, he is now, believe it or not, one of the lesser tanks in the game, and we'll get to why a little bit later on. But for me, Groot, although completely playable if there's a Groot on my team, as long as they're doing some wall stuff and like a good ult here and there, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not gonna get like upset if there's a Groot on the team. So I think I'll put Groot in just like B. Just nothing crazy. It's just, yeah, if you want to play Groot, especially if there's a Rocket, because that sort of adds on together. Of course, all these synergies and team up abilities will move the characters a little bit more. If you have a character and that has a team up with another one, and they're both in your team, they're both characters kind of get a bit better, right? Which we understand. Next up is Hulk, and I think Hulk has actually gone up a little bit. I think he was a bit lower down. He's one of the lower tanks, in my opinion at least, with the in the first beta. But I think Hulk has jumped a bit because Strange has been buffed, and Iron Man feels way better to play right now. So naturally, if you can squeeze a Hulk in your lineup and you're running Iron Man and Strange as your other tank, then all that extra damage actually really does start to add up, and it has been noticeable when I've done it. The difficult part is finding a good Hulk. I feel like the Hulks I play with are either really, really, really good or not, like, or really not, I guess. So I think I'll put Hulk, honestly, with Groot as well. Good synergies can be good as just an annoying tank, especially because there is some of this. Again, we've seen, at least for me, I've seen a lot in this meta of diving into backline. It seems to be the focus of the meta right now, mainly due to another tank we'll talk about later. And I think Hulk's good at, even worst case, jumping into the backline to defend and just start punching all these melee characters. Not bad. Iron Man was, I felt, pretty rubbish in the previous beta. Got laughed at a bit too much by Hela. However, I think he's a lot better now. The damage he can put on is really, really strong with his E buffing up his already good AoE auto attacks. His rockets still don't really achieve anything. I don't really know why. I think I've died to a rocket cluster once, and it was when I was like point blank, and they rocketed me. So I don't really know why the rockets don't do anything. However, his flight is really good. His fast flight is good for, survival. His E is obviously really good. His laser helps deal with not only tanks, but actually just shreds most characters in the game, honestly, and can like chunk tanks really well if he gets close enough. And then obviously his ult is, as long as you can land it and you don't get like Doctor Strange or Magneto to where they can sort of just wave it away. As long as you place it well, maybe you sneak up behind the backline and shoot from a weird angle because you can fly obviously as well. His ult is super strong, so I would put Iron Man for me in A tier. Now I've been playing a lot of Iron Man, and he's one of those characters where if you are left to do Iron Man things, you will dominate the game. And if they say switch to, like Hela or something that's like Spider-Man that's countering you, you just switch, and then suddenly their Hela and Spider-Man aren't doing that great if you're, say, playing Magic or something, just as an example. So I think Iron Man's really good. And next up, Hela was arguably one of the best characters in the game, if not the best character in the game, in the beta, in the first beta. She has definitely gone down a peg or so. She is still good. She still provides that sniper role. So if you do have flies, if your opponents are playing like Storm, arguably Star-Lord, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, as I mentioned, and even if you can get good angles on the backline, she is still quite good. Her ultimate feels really good as well now. I don't know why her ultimate feels better in this beta than it did in the other one, because one of the problems we had was the patch notes for the beta were a little bit loosey-goosey and didn't provide actual numbers, so we're all kind of guessing. I still think Hela's good, but I think she's down to A instead of S for me. Next up, probably still my favorite character in the whole game, which is Magic. I don't get to play her often, but I think what she does is pretty unique and really powerful. She gets into that backline as DPS, can cause havoc in multiple ways. Her dash into knockup is super strong, and she is fairly tanky. I think a lot of people have been asked about this before, feel like she's weak, but I think a lot of that is down to they'll just charge in as Magic, just sort of alone, and then the enemy team just turns on her and kills her. And it's like, well, yeah, but that would be the same on any character except Venom. But again, we'll talk about that later. But I think when you can get into that squishy backline and start slicing them up, or you can kind of go toe to toe with tanks as well. She's really strong. And then when she goes Darkchild, if she isn't instantly killed, she can just win a team fight, and then either, that gets you the point, or that pushes forward the payload, or whatever map you're on. So yeah, I think she's really good, but I do think she still sits on A for me. Next up, Penny Parker. Her abilities were buffed. I think her fire rate of her left click, which is endless ammo, by the way, you can just left click forever, basically. That got buffed. However, I hold the same opinion where Penny Parker's good, but super niche. Like, if you want to hold a point, especially one on Tokyo with the if you're defending with the first sort of round the corner they have to push. If you want to hold that, Penny Parker's great. You put the web machine down, it spits out a million drones. People die when they turn the corner. It's very powerful for holding areas. But I think overall, especially with the addition of Thor today, there's a lot of good tanks in the game that are very flexible, and Penny Parker has a very specific and narrow role as the tank, or as that version of a tank. So although I think she's okay, I do think she's fallen off a little bit more for me just because of the tanks they have added in the game. So I think I'll put her at C, even though she has been buffed, which is weird, but I think the game has changed now that we've got 4 more characters. Next up is Punisher. Punisher, I think, is very good. He was good beforehand. He's just a steady DPS. I think the best thing about Punisher is if you can find a good one, you want your Punisher to sit in the backline, because so many characters like Venom, like Spider-Man, which we'll talk probably a lot about, especially those two, dive backline over and over and over. And they dive from angles that you can't just put a wall up and stop them. They're diving from the sky, right? Because of the webs. So Punisher, if you just sit, even Magic, a lot of people play Magic doing the same. If you sit Punisher in the back and just the person playing him knows what's going on, then you just pull your shotgun out and it's just bang, bang, and normal melee. Spider-Man's toast, bang, bang, dead. If tank, you can still press them really hard. Even Venom, you can chunk damage with that shotgun. So I think especially in this meta right now, Punisher definitely goes up here as a really good way to fend off this backline pushes. Rocket. Rocket was my most played character by far in the first beta. I really like the playstyle. However, again, with Jeff and with Adam Warlock being added, again, you've got to reevaluate where he sits. I think he's still good. But now Adam Warlock's res, although less often, is so strong, and Adam Warlock's like sort of utility is so good that I think Rocket takes a notch down and ends up in C, honestly. I like playing him, and again, being in C tier doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, they picked a bad character. Ugh, it's just, oh, okay, well, you have to think a bit differently, right? If they're playing Penny, then they have to really set up those defensive positions. If they play Rocket, they're still going to do a lot of healing. They're still going to provide support. It just doesn't feel as good. I feel like his damage gun has been nerfed. I'm not sure if it has. I can't remember exactly on what the note said, but I feel like his gun has been nerfed because I cannot 1v1 as many players as I used to with Rocket. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know, but something tells me his damage has been nerfed on his gun. But he is still good, but just not mind blowing. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch kind of feels the same. I'm going to be honest. She can be strong, but is pretty vulnerable to people who know she exists. She's super strong because Magneto got buffed, so again, it's hard to talk with these synergies. If there's a Scarlet Witch on the team, you really want the Magneto, or if there's a Magneto as tank and they request a Scarlet Witch, I would suggest someone playing Scarlet Witch because his Chaos Sword is busted. But I think the Scarlet Witch is very just okay. So I think she'll sit in B, right, middle of the line. I think she's fine. She does a job, but she's one of those characters, if things aren't going well quickly, you should switch off instantly. However, she does deal with backline dives quite well. Not to really kill them, but if someone dives her, she's got like 2 of her like ghost shifts away, which can really help because she can fly as well. Oh, next up, I'm just doing this and then I'll explain. Spider-Man. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if people have been watching like Necros videos or something, but Spider-Man was barely. As soon as someone locked in Spider-Man in beta 1, everyone was like, please change, please change, please change. Now, you almost feel at a disadvantage if you don't have Spider-Man on the team, or at least a decent Spider-Man. He can endlessly fly into the backline, combo someone down, they're dead, and he's gone. Like, a fart in the wind or something, right? It's crazy. And I think now that players have realized you should turn the auto swing option off, which you should in the menu if you've not done it yet, in the Spider-Man menu and Venom. Controlling his web slinging is really way better. And he just absolutely busts people. I did not realize as well that if Spider-Man attacks a flyer, you knock them down if you web to them. So I played, like I said earlier, a good chunk of Iron Man. If there's a Spider-Man on the team and they've got half a brain, they just web to me and then just go boom, boom, and I'm just falling to the floor. And if I'm high up, I'm just falling, and locked in this fall animation for a while. And it's a problem. And I just die. And they can just web to you all the time. It's crazy. So yeah, you are very vulnerable in the air if there's a Spider-Man. And even though you can get people that are bad on Spider-Man because it's very hard to play character, I think people are understanding the character, knowing how to play him, and getting way better at it, which makes him, for me, one of the scariest characters in the game right now. Next up is Star-Lord. Star-Lord is good. I'm really struggling putting him between A and B here. Because your Star-Lord's like one of those characters where sometimes you'll get someone who pops off and just decimates whole teams. But then other times, it's just, oh, well, he shoots his guns. And you just think, could he have more of an impact? Because a lot of the time with so many shields and stuff there are in the game and so many like defensive options, especially with people playing like Luna, even like, Venom just existing, Adam Warlocks with res, his ult feels a little bit more lackluster now. So I'm actually going to put Star-Lord in B. He's, again, completely fine pick. If someone wants to pop off with him, that's great. He can be really annoying, but I think other heroes do his job a little bit better. Storm. Oof. The Storm's been buffed literally today. because I guessed this before it even came out. I said this the other day on stream that I really wanted Thor's one of his synergies, sorry, to synergize with Storm because Storm doesn't have any team ups, and Thor, Thunder, Lightning, Storm, Weather makes sense. And hey, what they did it. Thor's team up with Storm. Storm gets like a chain lightning ability as an extra ability, and for those of you that have played Storm, having just another damage move is huge because you can build your ult faster, and all Storm is revolves around basically is building her ult ASAP, clearing the team, building the ult again, clear the team. So Storm has literally been buffed a few hours ago. I like playing her. I think she's strong. However, I think she's hard. Like if the second you don't have a big impact with Storm, you have basically wasted a character slot. So for that reason, I think I'll put her in B because she's pretty hard to play well. But if you can, she is good. And if you've got a Thor, she is even better. So again, B base. But I think if you've got a Thor on the team, she probably sits at an A in my book. Magneto has been buffed. He can shield himself now. Not his big sort of wide shield, but his bubble. He can bubble himself, which is really nice. Gives you an option to just try and survive a lot longer, which is what you want to do as a tank. But I think in this meta, with the Iron Man, with the Hela ults, with these ults that sort of cause havoc, having Magneto to just nope them is very strong. Also, again, like I said, he has been buffed. If you've got a Scarlet Witch on top of that, his Chaos Sword just shreds. So I actually think Magneto is one of the scarier tanks right now. Oh, but is he? Oh, it's hard actually. Let me think. Let me think. Okay, I'll put Magneto in A. I think Magneto's very good. It's tough, but I think Magneto is good. His ult is really good to counter opponents' ults. His shield soaks really good abilities. Yeah, I think he's good. So we'll put him in A. Yeah, he's almost B, but I think he deserves A. Okay. Next up, we have Loki. Loki has been a little bit, I think, underplayed in the games I've played. Again, this is potentially down to Adam Warlock and now Jeff coming out. Everyone's playing Jeff because he's cute and he's fun to play. So maybe Loki's lower play rate is just people playing other characters. But then again, I've seen tons of Mantis, Luna, and Rocket. So I think Loki's fallen off a little bit. Again, his ultimate will always be powerful because you cherry pick the ult you want. But I think the problem here is it's really difficult to be safe as Loki because there's so much backline dive, and having basically all your heals be targeted and kind of tricky. Like you're super underpowered if you don't have your clones out. And I think I think people are getting better at killing the clones, whereas in the first beta, I think Loki always had these two clones up. So his healing was way stronger. So yeah, I think Loki's lack of mobility, he does get a teleport to an extent. But I think I'm not feeling Loki right now, and I don't think anyone is. I'm almost tempted to put him into D right now. Because I do think that I would rather see a Rocket on the team than a Loki by far. Unless there's like Unless someone's like, hey, we're a duo, I'm playing Loki, my mate's playing Storm or something, or Iron Man, or those big payoff ults, and then you just Loki, or even Adam Warlock, because you can Loki, Adam Warlock reses everyone, then you can Loki Adam Warlock's ult and res everyone again. Unless there's super specific setups, I actually don't think Loki's doing too hot right now. Doctor Strange, very good tank. Probably the number 2 tank right now, although again, I played with Thor for a few hours. I'm a Thor enjoyer, but I'll explain why Thor's a bit like this in a bit when we get to him. But I would say Strange is probably the go-to number 2 tank. He did get buffed. I think the buff was his left click, his normal attack got more range, which is huge because anyone who played Strange before saw that it was fine. Strange was still good, but it was very short range. Whereas I feel like his left click is longer range, which means he's building up his magic more to then blow up. His ult is still fight winning. You just dive in, ult, and then you probably won that team fight and then gain some time. So yeah, I think Strange is really good. Up until Thor coming out, if I was tanking, I was definitely going Venom or Strange. That was like my, and then if not, then it depends on what we need, basically, and what everyone else is playing. But for me, it would always be Venom or Strange. So I actually think I put Strange up here as well. I think these tanks are very good. Do I want him in S tier though? Let me think. I think I do actually. Yeah, I think Strange is super good. Do I though? The problem is, no, I can't. I can't because of reasons. Okay. Strange is very, very good. Next up, we have Luna. Luna still incredible. The fact that her ult is just, you basically sit there healing everyone, and if there's a problem, oh, someone's Iron Man's about to ult, or Star Lord, or whoever, you just run in, press ult, and no one dies. That's just the ult. Honestly, the ult may as well just say, yep, no one can die, done. Because that's how strong it is, and it lasts for a very long time. So Luna, I still think, is really high up there in the supports. And I do think she's like, she's A tier support for me personally. I think if you've got a Luna on your team, you are always feeling good about life. Next up, we have Namor. Namor, again, he's okay, but like, the problem is, Namor's ult is what sets him aside. His ult is fantastic, right? The big whale jumps in and knocks everyone and does loads of damage. Outside of that, I still think other heroes do the job better. And again, don't get me wrong, Namor, I've seen people play Namor and do insane damage, carry games. But I think that's more down to the player than the character. So I do think Namor's okay, but I don't think he's that strong, especially when you're like, if you want to snipe, I'd rather see a Hela on the team. If you want impactful team fight abilities, then I'd rather look at like Storm, Iron Man, Spider-Man, similarly, honestly, and stuff like that. So even Darkchild, for example. So yeah, I think I put Namor in C for this one. Again, C isn't terrible. It's just what I wouldn't deem the best. Next up, Mantis. Mantis did get buffed a little bit as well. She seems a lot better now, and because she has synergy with Adam Warlock. And I'll just mention it now. Adam Warlock's team up is with Star-Lord and Mantis, and basically I can't remember the exact time, but every now and again, if you die as Mantis and or Star-Lord, you can just res like Adam Warlock reses every 2 minutes. So like you go into a ghost form, you fly where you want, and then you just res. So again, if you're playing Mantis Warlock, well that's just way better because Mantis just comes back every now and again, which is really strong. I do think Mantis is a very, very solid pick though, especially with some of the heal options we've now got. Additionally in the game. So I think Mantis has gone up a notch. I would actually put Mantis above Rocket now. For me, really good ult again. She's super fast when she's full health, which is nice, and she can really get people, keep teams going. Okay, so let's do this in release order, I guess. These are the 4 new characters now. Adam Warlock is a support character, has a big chain heal that heals a lot, but you only get 2 charges, and then once you use a charge, they start ticking, and then it charges up again. So you can only go like heal, and then you're kind of limited as to what you can do. You can attack, right? He does have a cool hold right click attack which charges up and then shoots about 6 bolts at the same time. But yeah, I like Adam Warlock. I like playing him. You've just got to time your heals. His chain heal is strong. His what I would call an oh shit move, which is his shift ability, binds all the friendly players near you together, not in movement, but just with a link. And basically, any damage anyone takes is spread across everyone, which means if you shoot one character, it's divides by 6 if you can hit everyone, right? So basically, it means no one really dies because they also gain a heal over time with that link as well. So if there's a big push about to happen and you add a Warlock, that's what you save your shift ability for. And then his ult is just, he creates this golden ball, and anyone who dies reses. It's kind of like Mercy from Overwatch, except they don't res on full health, but also the ball lasts for a few seconds, so they don't have to have just died and then you res. They can die within that time of the ball existing. The drawback is they come back on very low life, so when they appear in the ball to like come back, you need to like press E instantly and heal them. However, resurrection, which saving the time not only for respawn but from them running to whatever point you're on, is huge. So I would actually put Adam Warlock up here as an A. His big drawback, though, and everyone will probably say this, he has 0 movement abilities. He just runs. That's it. That you're just jogging all game. So if you are out of position, you are dead. He does get a self revive every, I think, 2 minutes, which is decent. But if you're out of position, you're dead. That's it. That's it. It's over. There's no rocket shifting away. There's no like Mantis just being fast and having loads of self heals she can stack on herself. Worst case. There's no Lunar Ice Ball to stop backline dives. You're just dead. So that is the drawback. However, even with that drawback, I think actually no, I'll put Adam Warlock on B. I've changed my mind. I think he's on. I feel like there's too many on A. I put Adam Warlock here. I think he's very good, but I do think that he, if you're out of position, you're dead. Next up, Venom joins Spider-Man. The Spiders are just S tier guys at the moment. Venom has single-handedly created a new comp, which is 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 support. Now, don't get me wrong, some people played this now and again in the previous beta, but I don't really think it was through choice most of the time. It was just people wanting to play DPS. But now, Venom is so strong that he can just solo tank no problem. The idea with Venom, if you haven't played him yet, I will make videos on some of these characters and stuff as well to highlight this stuff, but Venom can swing in, dive bomb, which knocks everyone up into the backline, fight. When he's low health, he presses his E, which gives him a massive shield. Fight. And then when he's getting low, boom, his web swings off cooldown. So he swings back into the friendly backline, gets healed up, does a little dance, and then does it again. And he has so much health when he pops his shield. It's absurd, and he does decent damage, especially if you weave in the melee attacks in, like my magic video on my YouTube channel, which you can check out as well. He is so strong, and then his ult is just nice. Like you go on the floor and then like burst up, gain more health for each person you hit, but also knock them up and deal damage. Venom is the king of tanks right now, and Spider-Man's the king of sort of annoying DPS. So yeah, kind of funny those two are shining right now. But yeah, if your team, someone picks Venom, you can play 3 DPS, and then that makes a huge difference. Give it a try, I promise. You'll like it. So Venom, insane right now. And now we get to the 2 brand new ones. These are my opinions based on just a few hours of play. First off, we have Jeff, the baby land shark. Super cool character. He has really cool movement. He goes under the floor and like flies around a little bit. He has just a hose pipe heal, which is very strong. He puts little heal packs on the floor for your friends to pick up and heal. You can also, that's how you heal yourself with Jeff, in case you don't know. If you're dying, you want to throw a pack in front of you and then run over it. His ult is very unique. He gobbles up anyone in this circle, a very big circle, and then he has options to spit out the enemies, spit out the friends, and you can aim, and then you really do spit them out. They go flying in, so you can throw them off maps if you time it well. So Jeff, super fun, super cute, really cool character. However, after just a few hours of play, messing around, he is giga squishy. He has a small hitbox, and when he goes under the floor, just his fin shows. You can shoot him on the floor when he's under there, but he can't get crit. But he is squishy. I think he has like 250 health, maybe. So he's super squishy, and if people decide that you're annoying them, you're probably dead. And it's really tough. So I actually think Jeff sits at B. Because although I think he's very strong, if your enemy team just focuses and just says, okay, just kill Jeff, you'll die. There's not really a way around it. You are so weak, and yeah, you can go under the floor, but you've got no teleport, you've got no shift to get out or anything like that. And he's really tough. So I think he's B. He might push to A, but his ult is nowhere near as impactful as Luna's. So he can sit on B for the moment. And finally, we have Thor. Thor is a character I like more than I thought I did. He's a tank, for those of you who don't know. But he's a weird tank. Doesn't really have defensive abilities. His abilities are just walk. He tanks in the way that Thor would tank. Yeah, I'll tank this, don't worry guys. Walks in and just hits stuff. And he tanks by people not wanting to be hit by him, so they have to try and kill him. He has a sort of fly, where he spins his hammer and flies a bit, but he doesn't actually fly. It's like a dash, but an air dash you can do. He can throw his hammer and it comes back as like just a right click hit. What else? He has a circle he puts down with some lightning. His ult, he flies up in the air for a few seconds. You can move, and he slams down for damage. Really nice. But his interesting thing is his mechanic, which is he has 3 hammer charges, and all your abilities, apart from your normal attack, uses a hammer charge. But you have another ability that if you have 3 hammer charges, you can use it, and then his hammer just flies around him a bit, and he just can start throwing lightning, and it does a lot of damage. So the whole character is managing resources. He seems super strong because when you use this move, that when you use all 3 charges with this move, he also gains a shield. I think gets tankier. He's really strong. However, he felt clunky to play at the start because every time you use an ability, there's a cooldown, like a little cooldown. Whereas I would really be interested if they actually, if they took that away, what would it be like? Because the character would feel smoother. I just don't know if he'd be OP or not, because you could spam some abilities a lot. Because you're using these charges as a resource instead of like the cooldown of your ability, which most characters' resource in the game is their ability cooldowns, not an actual resource. So Thor, I like a lot more than I thought. I wasn't like Thor's cool, but I've never been like, oh, I love Thor. I can't wait to see Thor in a game. Not really exciting for me, but the character plays really well, and I think I actually think I think he's here. I think he's actually ah yeah. I'll put him in A tier for now. I think he's really strong. There's a world where he goes in S because he was, when I was playing him, when I was playing against him, he's a menace. He's an absolute menace. But he isn't Venom. So that's the problem, right? I can't really put anything next to those, next to Venom, especially as a tank, because he just isn't Venom. Am I happy with this list though? I don't think I am. I think I'm doing this, guys. I'm really sorry for changing the list up, but I'm changing my mind. I think this happens. I think that's where we are actually. So we have Spider-Man and Venom, the duo, as S tier. We have Iron Man, Hela, Magic, Punisher, Doctor Strange, Luna, and that's Thor. I couldn't get a good picture, I'm sorry. Then we have Magneto, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Star-Lord, Storm, Mantis, Adam Warlock, and Jeff in middle. Groot, yeah, this feels like Groot, Penny, Rocket, and Namor are a bit meh. And then, for me, Black Panther and Loki are just not it right now. But yeah, that is the tier list overall. Again, Thor and Jeff especially take with it. You know, this is just a couple of hours playing. So we'll have to see how this one shapes up. I could be slightly off base. But yeah, that is my tier list for this closed beta so far for Marvel Rivals. Make sure to check my stream out where I'll be playing a lot, and I'm going to try and get hold of some codes for you guys as well, if I can. But let me know, do you agree? Am I completely wrong about any of these characters? Am I completely right about all of these characters? I hope so. But let me know in the comments, and like if you like and enjoy the video. There'll be more Marvel Rivals content coming soon, so make sure you stick around. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.